Today we're going to explore the power of using inserts in Mozaik software. An insert library that I've created for doing LED grooves in cabinet sides and tops, shelves. For those that haven't downloaded it already, check the link in the video description. So after downloading it, you want to make a copy of it and you'll want to save it into your insert library. So retro LED and Shiplap, and here you'll be. It's a pretty extensive library covering most situations you'll come across. This library is essentially broken into two categories. FF is face frame and the bottom FL will be the frameless. So let's say you want to put a LED light in the side of a frameless wall cabinet. Let's say you want to do both sides, frameless wall LED sides. This picture is a little bit tough to see, but if you go to the wall LED right, there's your right side and your left side. The grooves in this library have dado logic applied. So whatever the width of the down shear bit is, it'll go past that a half of the diameter. So if it's a 1/2 inch down shear making your groove, it'll go past a 1/4 inch. So it's not just going to butt in and leave a round edge for your shiplap and your LED lights. And I would recommend test fitting, maybe do a test cabinet. Another point I want to get across right away is the use of separators for these inserts and how they're used. So this Shiplap CL would stand for Shiplap center line. To create this look, if you go into your interior, this top right box, it's a section split. So you can split it as many ways as you want and go down to a separator. If I divide this into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections and add this insert, it'll stick the insert to the center of that separator for this center line. And that's on a formula, so that is the exact center. If you go to the mid, it's going to go and put that operation in the middle of the separator. So essentially, it'll leave the ends with a 1/2 of a space for the shiplap mid. That's also the same for the verticals. So the verticals are basically like a nickel groove back. The mid would have a 1/2 gap, or sorry, a 1/2 space, whereas the center line would have a full space. A couple more things here. So here's a face frame base right. There's a comment for all these. It says insert in bottom right opening. If you go to a sides, insert in bottom opening, it cuts both left and right grooves. In general, everything will essentially be put in on the bottom and left. Most things are working from the left to the right and from the bottom to the top. So that's just something to keep in mind. The open height ones, it'll cut just the opening height. It won't cut the whole cabinet height. There's a frameless puck light. That'll be centered. LED fixed shelves. This does not work for the adjustable shelves. LED top. One more quick thing I'll mention is you can use this insert to make the operation on the outside of the cabinet. I don't recommend doing it, but add the insert, go into your part, right click on the groove, and then it'll say move to opposite face. So let's see how this thing works and how it's parametric. So here's a tall cabinet, frameless, that's got grooves in the sides, top, fixed shelf. And what if I want to change this from a 3-inch setback to let's just say 6? Everything moves. Pretty sweet. Here I'm in my frameless blind dado construction method. And to make this work, you'll need to add these 6 parameters. The important part is filling this part in. The description doesn't matter so much. So how you do that is go down to add. And from there, you're just going to write in these names. So LED side setback. Once you fill those in, press save as. It'll ask you to save it. Yes. And then you can just overwrite the same construction method that you just were using. And don't worry, you can edit these or delete these if you make a mistake. So don't worry about that too much. So then you would ideally start a new job with that construction method, and those would all be in your other category. You could also go to your settings in a current job go to your libraries. You could go to that construction method you just modified and go to edit job parameters, and from there it'll show these here once you load them. So you'd have to go load and then grab that frameless blind data and open that up. That would show up there then. This part can always be a little bit of a mystery with what are you loading and what is current, but edit and load and that'll pull that in. So that's how that works. Show you how to copy this. Let's say you have your frameless V10 library changed and you want the frameless V12 with the same user parameters. You can go into your frameless V12 and it won't have these yet because you haven't added them to this library. But if you want to use the same method, you can go ahead and just press load and then go to your frameless blind data and open. And it'll say overwrite current parameters. You say yes, and it'll bring in the one you just saved from your V10 library. So that's how simple that is, to just kind of copy it among libraries. So here's a tall cabinet that I have a groove in the top. So that's an open height. What if I don't want the top? I want the whole cabinet. Let's clear that. Go to our inserts. And I'm in my face frame cabinets here and a tall. So let's go to FF, go down to tall. Let's go sides. We'll drag that in, the bottom. Let's go all the way up to the top. So let's say I don't want that. Let's back up. Let's go back to our face frame open height. LED sides again. You see it just shows an opening with grooves. We'll drag that in the top. You can see it's just going to the top and it's not coming through. You can easily modify these too. Let's edit this. Operations, elevation, edit. Let's go to our length, open height. You could do +2 to Tom. And that'll add 2 inches. Now what if I need a groove in the top and the sides? What do I do here? Well, that's the beauty of Mozaik and using separators. So let's clear this opening again. What we'll do for this, there's probably a couple ways you could do it, but we'll just split this for now, make it a separator. Here we'll open our library again. We'll go to face frame and we'll go to LED top, drag that in. There you go. What we'll do here now is you can make this top and then now we'll go to our sides and I can just add the same thing we did before. We'll go to our face frame, open height, sides. Now we got the best of both worlds. One little side tip here is these glass shelves. If you don't know how to add glass shelves, well, go to your shelf and you can see here it says adjustable shelf, 3/8 glass. Go to edit, it says glass here. So I already changed this, but let me go back and I'm going to rebuild this shelf. Go down to rebuild. There it's my regular rift white oak. Let's go to edit, go to a part type, glass. And as long as you have that material set as a glass, that'll pull up as glass. So let's look at how we'd add LED side lights to this cabinet in the lower section and a puck light in the top. Let's clear this out. I have to go to my open height first. And before I can do that, I have to split this. So what I'll do is split this in 3 ways. Vertically, the separator. And now what we can do is go to face frame, open height, because I want to get this opening height with a groove, and we'll go left and drag that in. Do the same thing on the right side, drag that in. Now we're just going to squish those to 0. There you go. Now we'll add our shelves again. There you go. Still parametric. Can make these adjustable shelves. Still works. And then the top, we can just simply add a puck light. Go to face frame, drag that in. Puck lights are a little different. They require a few manual edits, but pretty simple. Check your diameter here. It's already going to be centered, and the inset's going to be centered in the inside of the cabinet. So how do I get grooves in a base cabinet like this with the middle partition, or even two grooves? Let's figure it out. And for this, I'm just going to run a partition in the middle and lock it to center. And I'm going to add a stretcher, lock it to the center. Could be a separator if you want. There we go. So now, let's just say I put a shelf in there. I could do a couple things here. I could add an insert, face frame, base. Let's just try this once. I'll show you. That one will go over to the top, all the way to the top, excuse me. So if I drag that in, it'll go up through all the way to the top. It might be fine, but let's try something different. I can't do an opening height here because it'll stop at the shelf. So let's delete the shelf. What we'll do here is we'll split this again. Separator. Now we'll add our face frame open height LED right. See what we're doing there? Let's go to the top of that opening and stop. Then again, we'll just go ahead and just make this width 0. Still there. And now we got our shelf. That's all you got to do. Putting grooves in cabinet backs is so fun now. It's so easy. So let's take a look at how we do it here. Here's a frameless base. So we're going down to FL, base, and I got vertical centerline, or I got vertical mid. And in this cabinet now I have vertical mid, which means the actual operations are going in the middle of the openings. So you can see the separator is right here, but the groove is here. So let's clear this and just do it again. Let's try the center line. Just going to go right in the center of that line. Drag it to the left side and drop it in. And there, that's it. I don't want to drag one in the last opening, because what would happen is I would get an operation halfway on the end of that part. So we don't need one there. So we're just going to take that one off. And that's perfect right there. So this is parametrically set up to split that line by whatever our back parameter is. So let's drag those in here. Let's just go to the back width. Let's just make it an inch. I'll show you the difference between the center line and the mid vertical. For the mid, we'll use all the openings, and that splits the last one in half. So there you go. Pretty cool. Vertical, just do one, so you can see. You drop one in there, puts a groove in the middle. Let's back up. We'll split this 3 ways just for ease, and we'll do face frame, vertical mid. There you go. Now if I take this shelf and drag it, oops, so that have to go off the face. That'll all move. Let's take a look at adding some horizontal grooves, or shiplap grooves. So here you go. We got the mids here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 openings. And actually with the mids, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 panels. So that's one way of doing it. You could also go to the center line. And then this one, just delete it or clear it. There's the center line. Another thing we could do is we could just add some shelves. Let's do some fixed shelves. That's just splitting the opening in half. And there you go. And there, you can do the same thing for the adjustable shelves. So let's look at a cool wall cabinet like this that has no bottom. One thing I want to point out also is on back operations, the top scribe wall reference needs to be on the top. So So you'll see here, top scribe wall, I have 3 inches. Go to 0. That's all parametric. Everything works fine. Let's go back down to 3. Everything's fine. So if I go to bottom versus top, you can see what happens here. Otherwise your operations will be like this, or it'll be off the back of the part. So if I go to top scribe 0, it'll say off the back of the part. So you can't see it, but if you go into your parts operations, you'll see there that's not right. So just one thing to kind of keep in mind when you're working with this. So this is a pretty cool cabinet here that's got operations on the bottom of fixed shelves, adjustable shelves, the top of adjustable shelves, sides. How do you do all this? And the back grooves. How do you do all this in one cabinet? Let's take a look at it. I'm going to change the setback here. So instead of 3, let's go to 6 so you can see everything changes except for the adjustable shelves there. So that's why I have 2 different parameters here, so we can dial that in, tweak that. So you can see there how they're lined up correctly, top groove and a bottom groove. What it's measuring from, so it's 3 inches from the front of the cabinet, or sorry, the front of the case, and it's 2 1/8 from the front of the shelf. So this can be kind of a complicated cabinet to assemble if you're newer to Mozaik or to draw. So you can do this by deleting the bottom. Going to the bottom part and deleting this. But you can see here what I have instead is I've created a material that's nothing. It's basically a material that has 0 thickness. And I've found this works better for me for this situation. When I add my grooves, it'll go all the way to the bottom. If I have a regular bottom panel, let's just say I have it on there and I delete this, my grooves don't go to the bottom. I'm kind of just tricking the software into thinking that there's a bottom there, so it's taking the grooves all the way down. Another thing you might notice is I have 2 green shelves here. Well, the insert library won't stick to adjustable shelves. So those are shape overrides, which come with the download. Let's just rebuild all parts here, the bottom. There you go. Grab our material, that's a nothing. And that works fine. What we'll do is we'll clear this all out. All right, that's done. Let's just say I didn't want any grooves in the back. I could easily add the lights by just dragging this in. And there I have my lights on both sides. It's done. The problem with that is I now have used up my opening space with this insert. So let's clear this out and do this again. We'll split this in 3 ways, 3 separators. And Mozaik's going to help you out by changing that to a fixed shelf. So you say thank you, and then we undo it. And now we go back here to where we have our face frame, LED, no bottom, left. See the picture there? The cabinet has no bottom. And then we'll do one on the right side. And again, we'll just go ahead and shrink these openings to 0. And there, we're done. Now we got all of our usable space back here. These grooves do have dado logic going all the way through the bottom here and on the back. I've tested this. What we'll do here is we'll split this into, let's say, 5 sections. And we will add our face frame vertical, no bottom. We can either do center lines or mids. For this, let's go with the mid. So for the mids, we'll do all sections. There, we're done. Keep in mind now, we can adjust these dados independently of the back. So let's just go ahead and make this 12 mil wide. And now we'll go back into our interior and let's add face frame LED top. Drag one in there. And we can do a top on this fixed shelf as well. The difference is if we do a fixed shelf, it's on a different parameter. The shelves are on a different parameter than the sides. than the rest of the library. So either way you want to do that, I'll just undo this. So it's pretty cool that Mozaik can now do nosings. To get the fixed shelves, or excuse me, the adjustable shelves to have grooves, well, when you download your library, it'll come with a small shape library, retro LED parts, and here you can add your adjustable shelf with a bottom light, a top light. So the shelves are on the shelf setback parameter, and these parts are on the standard side setback parameter. Two different types of things there. Go to our parts, let's go to our shelves, let's go to our edit shape, load from library, go to your new library, retro LED part, and let's do a LED on the bottom here. Press OK. We'll go to high detail. High detail allows you to see the operation at all times without having this high detail switched on. Pretty nice. The other shelf, let's put one on the top. So go here, edit shape, load from library, LED parts, adjustable shelf top. Okay. And there you go. These are parametric as well. So yeah, if you adjust the setback here, let's go to 5. Let's go to our fixed shelves now. Let's add 2 to that. There you go. That lines up the same. I will caution you with using the shape library to double check your banding after adding a shape to make sure it's what you want. And it will stay, it'll stretch and shrink, but it will stay a square or a rectangle. It won't dado in, so just be aware of that. Another thing I'm super excited about is this library works with the closet library. It's all parametric again. Toe height. It'll be adjusted to your toe height. Dado setbacks. That'll adjust. So here, let's add a groove in the top of this wall cabinet. And for the closet library, when you select this cabinet, it won't grab the end panels. It behaves a little differently than the regular libraries. So we'll open this up. So I want to add a light to the top of this. Again, we're going to use the frameless library for this. So we'll go to frameless, LED, top. And there it is. See, it doesn't work for the adjustable shelves. So if we want that in the parts, like before, just go to your edit shape, load from library. One thing to note is you can save these as a favorite. So I can take this whole section here, right click, go to add to favorites. If you have no categories yet, you can create one. I have a category of closets here, video. So I could drag that out into a room and it would be just the way I left it. Let's quick take a look at this tall closet cabinet here. So you can see here I have a frameless tall LED sides. So I have my, it's hard to see it there, but I have the grooves for the sides set up right now. And let's go back out, I guess, to take a look at this. So within the tall section, these grooves come out the top. So if we don't want that, we just make it a base. So we go to the interior, inserts, we'd go to frameless, base, LED sides, and that's going to go up to the top, but again, it won't come out the top. I know this is getting long, but I want to show one more example of the complexity of inserts and this library. So here I have vertical and horizontal grooves in the back of this cabinet. It looks kind of complex here, but let's just show how this works. Clear this out, we'll split this again with a fixed shelf, and we'll just lock it to the top. Now the first thing we're going to want to do again is going to split this thing multiple ways. We'll start with 3. We'll go to this opening and we're going to make this 9. Go to this one, make it 9. And now what do we do? Well, you think we would just add a split here and here like this. or this, show you what happens. It's going to grab those two. But what if I want to go and make my other operations now and do 3 or 4 separators? Well, that disappears, so that's not going to work. So what we'll do is we're going to create some more separators to separate the next operation. So we're going to put in another separator here and here, and do the same thing again. Frame open height, vertical, we're going to go on the center line of this. So that drags in and it catches the right side, drop it on the left, catches the right side, and catches this right here. And now we're going to squeeze this down to 0. And again, I don't think I needed to put this separator here, but we did. So that's it. Now we're going to go down to our Shiplap center line. That'll drop it on the line there. Let's do that for now. Drop it in the bottom. Drop it in the bottom. And that's it. We don't want any grooves higher than that. And again, I'll just do it on the mid for this side to see the difference. Mid. Shiplap mid. The shiplap acts as an opening width operation. And there it is. So you can get creative with that. And one thing to note too is this says 3 inches here, but these are going off the center line, these grooves, so it's going to be an 1/8 inch less than that. So keep that in mind if you're trying to get specific sizes. You see that's 2 7/8. So if I go across to the other side, it's going to be 3 inch on center. So one quick thing I want to mention before I head out, if you want to move an operation to the opposite side, go to your part, operation, whichever groove it is, there it is. Right click it and move to opposite face. I don't recommend doing this until you're basically ready to cut the job, because this will not move like the rest. If I try to move my edge to, let's say, 6, see how that one moved and this one didn't. So operations that are changed like that won't update, and maybe that'll change in the future, but as of now you can see how that works. So I've got quite a bit more content lined up for other unique things in Mozaik, so if you want to subscribe, have at it. Stick around, there'll be more to come. Thanks.